Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to InfernoKun, back with The Walking Dead, the final season. We have the gameplay shown at Comic-Con, the almost first 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the game, showing off all that it has to offer, and it is an incredible little piece of gameplay because it just shows just so much they have been working on behind the scenes, like animations, very like set pieces, things like that. It is absolutely a gorgeous little scene there, and I can't wait to see what more they have in store for the rest of the episode and for future episodes. So this is my breakdown, my opinions, my thoughts about it, everything else that I'm gonna go ahead and do for this little gameplay. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna play it and then I will stop it and talk about it. So let's go ahead and go. Okay, let's go ahead and stop it right here. For the most part, it's pretty much just showing Clementine and AJ at the train station. We've seen in concept art, we've seen it in the pretty much past gameplay, and it's a pretty big place. For the most part, they said that Clementine and AJ have been traveling, of course, in their car for a long time, and they're looking for a place to go ahead and settle down. Of course, that being the boarding school. Once we get there, we'll probably settle down there. That could be, of course, that would be our group. But, of course, looking at the UI is very important because, it gotten, I wouldn't say overhaul, but it looks very nice. You can go ahead and see it in Clementine's car trunk. She has multiple items. She has, of course, the crowbar, which, of course, is used later on to go ahead and pry open the door. She has a canteen, which of course contains, or doesn't contain water for the most part, but I guess you can fill that up, and that could be a very important factor. Like if you go ahead and bring that with you, you can go ahead and fill it up maybe, and you can give it to someone who really needs it in the future. That would be a really cool aspect, because what I've been seeing throughout this little gameplay is that small choices seem to be a really big thing. Whether they matter or not, we will see about that, but it definitely gives us a lot of options to go ahead and play with. You do see another item over that Clementine has, but I'm not entirely sure what that is. It is like a little toy or something for the most part, but that's pretty much that. So there are multiple things that you can look at here, and for the most part it's pretty nice to see. Now here we have a pretty cool little introduction of more of the new UI. We have an indicator popping up saying find food. We never really had an objective that popped up and said do this. We were pretty much like, hey, you should do this, and we were told that we had to go ahead and figure it out ourselves. Now we have a little bit of an indicator on what we should do. So I guess for the most part it'd be a lot easier to roam around in the hub, and then once you actually talk to that one person you have to talk to, it moves on the story. So it'll be a lot easier to go ahead and search all over the place without triggering the next moment of the story, which is definitely going to be really good for me because I have a habit of actually triggering the next part of the story without me wanting to, because I want to look around quite a lot. But of course, new UI definitely looking pretty awesome, and a new little thing where we have interactables that actually could have consequences. You see a red circle over the button that you press. That means that this action could have consequences. Now, ringing the bell is the example here. What could that possibly do? Okay, so it's a bell with a sign on it saying, hey, if you're friendly, ring the bell, and we'll know that. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, so that could lead to multiple things. Obviously, it didn't happen here. You ring it, possibility that could happen. Walkers could come. The people who are near could hear you and be like, oh, we have some people here, they fell for it, we should go ahead and ambush them. Things like that to consider. That would be very scary, because pretty much if I saw that, I would be like, I kind of don't want to ring that because I don't trust the people who put up the sign, or walkers could be near and could hear it. That'd be very dangerous. So hopefully there's more of that throughout the season that makes you think about your actions before you go ahead and commit to it. But for the most part, that is definitely really good. We also got the reassurance, of course, about the kid cast, trying to make them realistic and trying to make them really good, which is very important, because if you mess up a kid cast, it's going to be bad. And I hope they actually go ahead and, succeed with it, because for the most part, what we got so far from the whole, mini teasers and things like that, it doesn't seem so bad so far. Marlon seems like he's very mature, and I really do enjoy that. But, looking at Violet, hopefully she'll be mature as well. and hopefully, you know, none of them are like a Gabe for the most part, but it definitely seems to be a big improvement from, you know, Gabe, and definitely could lead to a very, very great story with the whole kid cast thing, because Walking Dead, it's pretty much the same. We had adults, we had, you know, teens. Now we're going back to kids, and hopefully it'll be a breath of fresh air and an awesome story as well, being around kids around Clementine's age as well. So let's go ahead and move on. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that AJ actually goes and runs and hides whenever Clementine fights a walker. So I'm not sure if that is, you know, what she told him to do. So that's definitely pretty interesting little detail there. Okay, so here, a little small thing, we have actual running, because, you know, in season 1, there was no kind of way to fastly get around the area. You had to just walk everywhere. And then in season 2, and every other Telltale game, they went ahead and added a little fast walking, you know? Hey, you can go ahead and traverse the area faster. But now they're adding proper running, okay? Like an actual running animation, not just a sped up version of the walking animation. And that's so great, because, you know, running around definitely is going to be really, really good, because we have more control over our character. You know, this whole camera just brings in a lot of opportunities for Telltale to go ahead and do this kind of stuff, because it is very, very interesting and just very common with the whole third person perspective type of thing. So definitely nice to have a little actual running animation that could be very, very useful for, like, you know, different kind of QTE scenes, different kind of set pieces where you actually control Clementine and run away. That would be a pretty awesome little thing to do. So looking forward to what they do with that. Now, going on to the whole deer head thing, we have actual, like, collectible. Not sure if it's like an important type of thing, because, you know, it said possible hood ornament, and you can go ahead and put that, you know, I guess you can put that on the hood of your car. That could be used as a little spiky thing for, like, walkers. It would kind of break, wouldn't it? I don't know, but you can kind of put it on your hood. It looks cool. So when you ride up to the boarding school, you be like, damn, Clementine, you got a deer head on your car in the apocalypse. That's pretty awesome. So, you know, for the most part, hopefully there's more of that, you know, customizations for, you know, Clementine, AJ, maybe even your car, various things like that would be very, very, very cool to go ahead and customize your game a bit. So hopefully there's more of that. That'd be pretty awesome to see for the most part. Okay, so if you saw there, you know, you have the pry bar. Okay, not sure if there's actually a little thing that I noticed here, but you can see a red circle around it. And what does red circle mean? This action could have consequences. So I'm wondering, you know, are there multiple ways to get inside of there? Because that is just a little tutorial, or just a little, you know, introduction to the season. Isn't going to do anything really too, I guess, you know, big until, like, you know, maybe more towards in the episode. But there is a red circle, which means consequences. Now, I wonder, for a situation like that, you could, like, look around for a different different entrance, you know, or you can go ahead and use the pry bar, which can be pretty loud, you know, in certain situations. So that's just giving me more of an aspect of, man, there are different ways to go ahead and do it, and some of them have consequences that some others do not. So that's definitely really cool to see. Hopefully that is something that I noticed that is pretty cool. So that'd be pretty awesome. So maybe there could be multiple ways to enter certain buildings we have to enter, and some of them have consequences that others do not. Maybe. I'm not sure, but definitely awesome to see some new button mashes there where you go ahead and hold the left and press the button as well. Definitely cool to go ahead and mix up QTEs. Definitely have them be pretty awesome. So go ahead and move on. So a little big part, you know, that I saw here is that pretty much AJ, you can go ahead and influence them based upon your advice. You know, go ahead and check your windows, or, you know, find a way out and things like that. That is very, very, very important, because, man, things can go very, very wrong. And it said that AJ is always listening. And I did say this in my teaser breakdown from the last teaser. I said that, hey, you know, maybe we could actually influence AJ based upon these rules. We have rules for him. And that is what I wanted, you know. I actually got something fairly right in the prediction, but, you know, for the most part, we can actually influence AJ, you know, based upon what we say. give him a set of rules to go by, which is very, very, very cool. So maybe if you, for example, tell him to go ahead and check the windows, we can go ahead and see an immediate threat before we actually go ahead and enter. Maybe if we go ahead and tell him to go ahead and find a way out, we will have an escape route if things go bad. Various things like that is very, very, very tricky, man. Very, very tricky, and it kind of gets you scared about what's going to happen, because things can go very, very wrong, and having this advice be as key as it can be very detrimental to AJ's survival. And I hope that that's the case here. So hopefully we will get more about that. Definitely cool to see that AJ is always listening to Clementine's advice. Like how, you know, pretty much Lee told Clementine to keep her hair short in the last episode of season 1. Definitely. Go ahead and move on. Okay, so there's more to it, but I'll go ahead and say that for a little bit into what they're going to do here. But for the most part, we do have interactables around the game. They go ahead and leave them out because of, you know, the sake for time and having us experience it ourselves. But for the most part, lots of things to go ahead and pick up and look around, man. I missed that. A New Frontier didn't have that as much. It wasn't, their hubs weren't that good, and these hubs, man, I'm loving them. They're looking legitimate. They're looking pretty awesome, man. I'm definitely excited to go ahead and walk around, look at stuff, and see things. And it's a lot better this season, so hopefully we'll have a lot more options. But for the most part, we do enter in this room with these 2 walkers, and AJ pretty much just wants to. AJ outright calls them monsters because, of course, he doesn't know he grew up in this world and that they are monsters. They aren't people, and we have this little challenge here to go ahead and enter the ticket booth. So I'm gonna go ahead and let it play a little bit more, and I'll go ahead and elaborate on what this scene encompasses. Okay, so there's a quick little point coming from them saying that, you know, this is the end of Clementine's portion of The Walking Dead. Maybe hinting at there could be more in the future, different storyline, maybe Javier, maybe the 400 Days character or something like that. I don't know, you know, definitely more Walking Dead. Okay, so they, of course, you know, the guy IGN asked, you know, are there any down endings for Clementine? And then the Telltale dude's like, I'm not gonna spoil any of the endings. Okay, so hey, multiple endings kind of confirmed. I'm not sure if we can go ahead and base that off of that, but you know, it's a very small thing to go ahead and, you know, add. I mean, this is the final season. Like, where can they go? They definitely have to do multiple endings. Like, it's definitely the only thing that you can do. If Clementine's story is about to be over, there's no point in trying to save the juicy bits or anything else, you know. Go all out, man. Multiple endings, 8, 10 endings. I'm joking, but you know, multiple endings definitely seems to be a thing to go ahead and targeting here, because I don't see a world where there can only be one ending to this. Definitely not. My predictions are, you know, one where Clem dies, one where AJ dies, one where they both die. That'd be pretty, I won't say that'd be pretty cool, but that would be a very, very, like, heartbreaking thing to see happen, you know. But, you know, multiple endings, yeah. Okay, so here's more of that scene that I talked about earlier. We have pretty much these 2 walkers, man. They're a couple. They want to be left alone looking at the sunset forever. Don't kill me, please. But they have a key to enter in the ticket booth. There's a thing of morals, pretty much, you know. It's about shaping AJ. What will you choose to go ahead and shape AJ? Because you can go ahead and kill the couple, or you can go ahead and send AJ into the ticket booth to open it from the other side. So looking at both options, killing the couple, that's kind of a moral thing. That'll be like, man, AJ thinks that, you know, they're all monsters and that they will be monsters. If you go ahead and kill them, that will further his belief, make him a bit more harder, and could ultimately be good or bad, because obviously him being more harder will have him be more tough in this world. And then if you go ahead and choose the latter, show him compassion, that could lead him to hesitate in certain situations that could be dire and very, very dangerous. So it's a moral thing that you want to instill into AJ. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But for the most part, of course, sending AJ into the booth could be dangerous. A walker could be in there. It's a choice between, you know, making him harder and showing him no compassion, or putting him in danger and showing him compassion. Definitely two different AJs that could actually come out from that situation. Okay, so I want to point out the animation, man. Definitely looking a lot better. Definitely looking really, really great. The models, things like that. But, you know, noticing here that whenever Clementine kills the two walkers, he's like, AJ's like, good job, you know. That's kind of a bit, you know, he's like, I don't care. Good job. He did it. Good job. But, you know, looking at the scene where we had the couples in the bed who shot themselves in season 1 episode, I think it was 4 or 5. You know, whenever Lee and Kenny and all of them saw it, they were like, damn, this is sad. But AJ wasn't like that. You know, these couples did the same thing, kind of. You know, they used poison, but the same thing. And AJ wasn't like, damn, they deserve better. No, he thought that they were monsters outright, that they weren't people before. And that showed him no compassion. He didn't really care. So that's a really big thing to go ahead and note from here. That you could actually make AJ a cold person. We'll see more about that, but that's pretty interesting. Okay, so we have more about AJ. You know, we know he actually is a good shot based upon the UI that pops up saying that he is a good shot. He found some bullets from his gun, and pretty much, you know, we go ahead and give him some more advice to either, you know, aim for the head. What's the other one? Never hesitate and save the last bullet for yourself. Man, I was right. Okay, so we can actually give him advice. This is cool. This is so cool. I'm really, really happy they did this, because the first teaser we got, we were like, hey, these are our rules, but we get to actually set the rules. We actually have what she said in an option, but we also have other options. We have never hesitate, which can be non-specific. But we do also have aim for the head. That's very, very specific. And then we have save the last bullet for yourself. She said that in the trailer, or the teaser at least. And we get to not say that. We get to choose if AJ actually, you know, if it comes to this, saves the last bullet for himself or aims for the head. That is very cool. Very, very cool. So it is confirmed that we actually will set the rules for AJ. We will give him advice based upon what we think and what we have as options. Very, very, very cool. So we have like a bunch of mini choices, which is definitely really, really cool to see. Like, it's sprinkled throughout this gameplay, and hopefully it'll be sprinkled throughout the season as well. Many impactful choices. You know, we have the option to go ahead and let AJ swear or not. You know how Clementine said swear every time Lee sweared in season 1? We can do that to AJ. That's pretty cool. But we can actually go ahead and let him swear. So that's pretty cool, because he can go ahead and swear in the future episodes or not swear in the future episodes as well. Definitely a little cool detail, because you know how in I think it was season 2 where Clementine was like, it smells like, and Lee's like, shit. Well, she says shit in The Walking Dead season 2 episode 2 on the bridge. You know, when she's fighting walkers, she says, oh shit, or she says something else. So for the most part, that's pretty cool detail they added, and hopefully they go ahead and follow through, have him be, you know, a potty mouth throughout the whole entire season if you go ahead and choose. So that's a pretty nice choice, to be honest. Definitely shaping AJ depending on what we choose is definitely really, really, really cool. Okay, so we go ahead and see the little thing of food. We have good food down there. Of course, it gets messed up by the grenade that's down there, but for the most part, hey, you know, that go ahead and shows that, you know, human temperament. Okay, there are some people who were there and wanted to go ahead and do that for some odd reason. Definitely just traps galore, man. So, you know, of course, the sign was the first little sign there saying that, hey, you know, ring the bell if you want to go ahead and talk like people. But we do have the grenade down in where the food is stored. So I'm wondering, are the people who did this very, very hostile and just want to go ahead and kill as many people as they can? Because only a human would open that and look for food, you know, for the most part. I'm not entirely sure what their goal is, if they want to go ahead and just kill as many people as they can for the most part, but that's kind of scary. People did that on purpose, you know. So I'm wondering if there's actually a group near them that did this for security reasons, or you know, what's going on with that, because we do see in the teaser yesterday, or in the teaser the other day, we did see these little trap thingies, maybe, where we have these little boulders in the trees that could possibly be trapped. So I'm wondering if that's tied to what's happened here at the train station. So we'll see more about that, but definitely a sign that, you know, of hostile humans. Maybe we'll see about that. Definitely kind of scary. Okay, so for the most part, this is like a little first scene of like the I wouldn't say unscripted combat. You know, it's definitely scripted, but it's not really like, hey, you're pressing QTEs. You're actually moving around freely, choosing the walkers you want to go ahead and, you know, fight and, you know, move around, kicking out their knees like Jane showed Clementine, and that's pretty cool. You know, they can group up and, you know, all just swarm you, but that adds to just the whole, I guess, strategy of it, where you go ahead and kick out the first one, stab the second one, finish off the next one. Definitely really cool thing that's not really as, you know, scripted, but, you know, you do get to choose what you want to do there. Granted, you do have limited options, but of course, hopefully there'll be more of that, you know, for like adding where you have like the environment to help you out. You can go ahead and see a trash can. You can like maybe go to it, knock it over. Hopefully they do add that. That'd be very cool. So definitely awesome to see this whole combat being restructured. There will be QTE sequences though, as we see in the next scene, but for the most part they will sprinkle in some unscripted type combat into the scripted version of it, like unscripted scripted combat, you know. That's pretty cool. Okay, so wow, okay, bunch of aspects to this that are very cool, man. The camera work is absolutely incredible. The animations, dude, they're like they're some of the best that Telltale has ever made. I mean, the power they go ahead and put behind these animations is definitely really awesome. They're so gruesome. Like how one walker goes ahead and grabs Clementine's face, dude. That's incredible. And the animation, man, is so good. Like whenever you see Clementine kick the car window, that is power behind that kick. You know how Lee did it in season 1, there was power behind it, okay, but there wasn't as much power behind it. The animation quality is superb, man. Definitely looking really great, and I'm just blown away by that whole scene. You know, it's just like the animation, I'm sorry, but the animation just so good. It's so good, okay? But what else do I add about this? Let's see. Yeah, but it's very realistic, very gruesome, and shows that, you know, they're not doing as much like, you know, safe type of encounterments. It definitely seems like it's like very like life-threatening, like walkers grabbing you by the throat and like trying to get you, and then like them breaking the windows and grabbing you all the time, and they're hard to take out too. They don't die by like one hit, man. They usually do, but Clementine stabbed that walker 3 times in the eyeball with the key, and it wasn't good enough to go ahead and penetrate his skull. And then her having to go ahead and stab a walker 2 times with a knife definitely kind of just adds to the whole just like worrying factor of it. It's definitely really cool. But man, these animations are very gruesome. I love it. It's kind of like it's kind of dark, you know, because you've never seen like a walker just like kind of like claw at Clementine's face like that and trying to get her, man. It's really gruesome, really dark, and incredible. Like these are some of the best animations I've ever seen from Telltale, and it's insane. I can't wait to go ahead and see more from the episode, and we're so close. So thank you guys for listening to this very long little breakdown of me gushing about this game. Holy shit. Never mind, we're good. Dang, that's a long time. Anyways, that's enough for me. I'm gonna go ahead and stop now. It's been long enough. But for the most part, thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. Go ahead and leave me a thumbs up if you guys have enjoyed, and go ahead and subscribe for more awesome content from The Walking Dead on my channel. I'm InfernoKun, and I will catch you guys next time on The Walking Dead.